coming up on Sports Night.
The women's basketball team made a run in the WNIT, and we'll be there to talk about all of it.
The softball team have been on a hot streak, but could they keep it up?
And lacrosse went to Johns Hopkins to take on the Blue Jays. We've got all the highlights.
Welcome back to Sports Night. I'm Abriel Siregar. Chris, do you feel that?
I do. Abriel, you better brace yourself. Sports Night is coming.
Welcome back to Sports Night. I'm Abriel Siregar. My partner in the backcourt, Chris Burton. Chris, how are you feeling?
Man, I'm excited. You know, this is the most highly anticipated return of any show on television this week.
I love Game
Sports Night is back.
Oh, Sports Night is back, Chris.
We've been on hiatus for a few weeks, but we're very happy to be back in the studio, and we've got plenty of sports to get to. So, Abriel, why don't we jump right in?
Now, we all want to know who's going to end up on the Iron Throne, but personally, I want to know who's going to end up winning the WNIT tournament. Let's find out. The Cats played their second game of the WNIT tournament against Toledo at Savage Arena. Early on, the Cats found themselves in a hole, but they would not go away. Veronica Burton plays the passing lane, takes the hit, gets the and one. Then it's all grit from the Cats. Burton dives for the ball. Pulliam gets the fadeaway, doesn't go. PKA working the boards. She can't get it to go, but Pulliam again, finally getting it to go. Continuing to cut down the lead. Pulliam to Abby Wolf. Picture perfect jump hook. And if it's not broke, why fix it? Pulliam, Abby Wolf, jump hook, this time for a chance for one more at the line. Finally, Lindsay Pulliam, not to be outdone, sticks her leg out to get the foul. Crafty and one. The Cats would complete the comeback and win 54-47. Now we fast forward to the WNIT final and an all-Wildcat affair. Early on, Arizona's Ari McDonald goes coast to coast for the basket. Then, following the missed three forward, Kate Reese gets the putback plus the foul. Northwestern not far behind though. Lindsay Pulliam goes into her bag. How about some mid-range, back-to-back pull-ups from Pulliam? Near halftime, Cats still trailing. Veronica Burton hits the rainbow three to cut into the Arizona lead. Second half, more pull-ups, more Pulliam. She hits a long two there. Arizona's TT Starks would respond, however. She hits her own jumper off the fake. Veronica Burton tries to keep the good guys in it with a three, but it would not be enough. Under 7 to go, lefty Sam Thomas hits from deep to put the game out of reach. And finally, Kate Reese converts down low as the Arizona Wildcats beat the Northwestern Wildcats 56-42. And if you want to see more of Northwestern women's basketball, stay tuned because we'll have some of the players involved in that historic run join us right here on Sports Night later on in the show.
You know, we love to have the major sports like baseball, basketball here on the show, but we also like to throw in a few surprises as well. Ben Boken met up with the club table tennis team to talk about how they were going to run things.
Behind the bleachers above Northwestern's indoor tennis courts, vibrant pinging sounds echo across the facility. It's not the usual popping noise of a racket landing up low on a yellow ball. It's the sound of a wooden paddle hitting a small white plastic sphere.
We are so good because we have really good players. That's really important. And our clubs, we are definitely the best table tennis team in Chicago area.
The Northwestern University Table Tennis Club was formed in 2006 for players with any degree of experience. Meeting 3 times a week, the campus's only ping pong union balances hard work and recreation.
Everybody is very friendly and willing to teach new people new techniques.
It isn't all fun and games. Some members of the small alliance compete in tournaments and travel to other universities.
Northwestern's big enough that we actually have a team that goes to collegiate table tennis and plays with other colleges. So I never had that in my undergrad, so I thought that was really cool.
Of course, playing a fast-paced game like tennis is pretty tiring, but members of the table tennis club say that tracking down this little white ball isn't easy either.
First of all, you need to keep yourself fit enough to play the Olympics, right? And second of all is you need to be fast enough to follow those balls that they count it back to you. Yeah, that's the hardest part.
But 60-year-old member Jack Song says he uses the challenging sport to stay in shape.
I like to work out as an item, besides other like running or this is more fun.
One thing is for sure, there are no teammates in a classic match of table tennis. It's you against the person standing about 9 feet away.
In table tennis, you are the only soldier.
So sometimes in ping pong, the player can be their own worst enemy.
If I'm losing, at least it's often because I'm beating myself.
If nothing else, the club's main goal is to provide a fun, welcoming environment. Members say it doesn't disappoint.
When you hit the ball you didn't expect myself can do, that's the one. And sometimes, of course, the game win. That's two scenarios. I have fun.
For NNN Sports, I'm Ben Boken.
Thanks, Ben. Coming up, softball and baseball are on a roll. We'll be right back.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Welcome back to Sports Night. Chris, what games do you think they would play in Game of Thrones?
Other than the Game of Thrones?
Other than the Game of Thrones, like sports in particular.
You know, I'm not sure, but, judging by how well Jon Snow swings a sword, I'd have to bet that he'd play baseball or softball.
Well, speaking of softball, here's some free advice. If you're a softball team looking to play Northwestern, maybe don't try it right now. The Cats have won 6 in a row. Could they keep it going? Northwestern looked to earn its 3rd straight series sweep and its 7th straight win on Sunday when they played Nebraska. Danielle Williams did what she does and completed her 4th consecutive shutout in the game, and just to throw out some more numbers, she had 12 strikeouts against Nebraska. Here we see Skylar Shellmeyer getting a single, scoring Jordan Rudd, putting the Cats up 1. Lily Novak then said, "I'll see your run and raise you 1 more," scoring Emma Bartz and Morgan Nelson. The Cats are up now 3. Finally, Danielle Williams seals the game, scoring Morgan Newport as the Cats would win 4-0. They've won 7 in a row. Can they make it 8? We'll find out right now. The Cats would host Northwestern on Drysdale Field. Top of the first, Kenna Wilkie starting for the Wildcats and gets Notre Dame to ground into the double play to end the inning. Great effort from the Cats. After a scoreless first inning for both teams, The Cats started cooking in the bottom of the second. Senior Lily Novak is in the box and smacks a double deep into right field. She went 1 for 3 on the day. Later on in the inning, Morgan Nelson gets arguably the biggest hit of the day. She sends a shot past the shortstop into left field and 2 Wildcats score. Nelson went 2 of 3 on the day with 2 RBIs. Cats up 2-0 after the second. The next inning, the Cats kept the offense up. One batter in the bottom of the third, and first-year Jordan Rudd hits a dribbler up the middle, gets past the shortstop again, and then she gets an RBI to put the Cats up 3-0 after 3. Fast forward to the top of the 7th, and Danielle Williams gets a strikeout and the save. There's the W. That victory would be number 600 for head coach Kate Drohan. On the Cats' 8-game winning streak, they seemed unstoppable. The only thing they couldn't stop, however, was the weather. The Cats were scheduled to play UIC on Wednesday, but due to inclement weather, the bout was canceled. The Cats will instead look to continue their winning streak against the number 25 ranked Wisconsin Badgers this Friday.
You know, softball isn't the only team swinging the bats right now. Baseball's been hot. Before the Cats headed into Columbus, Ohio last weekend, they had won 5 of their last 6, scoring 37 runs in the process. Ohio State was the team's first Big Ten test since Purdue in mid-March, but the Cats took the first 2 from the Buckeyes, and they looked for the sweep on Sunday. It was a 10:05 first pitch at Bill Davis Stadium, and by about 10:15, the Cats were in a hole. First-year pitcher Tommy DeLeese gave up 3 runs in the first, including this triple from Dylan Dingler. Ohio State looked poised to avoid the sweep, but there's no quit in these Cats. David Dunn got the party started in the 4th with this rocket to deep left, and if Ohio State's stadium had bleachers, folks, that one would have been upper deck. It was the first year's first dinger in almost a month, but it couldn't have come at a better time for the Cats, who went on yet another late inning run. Here's an incredible stat for you guys. They scored 23 total runs in the last thirds of the games in the series. And that double from Willie Bourbon drove in 3 and put Northwestern ahead. They never looked back. Sean Gusenberg, that's a baseball name if I've ever heard one. He plates 2 with this double. Cats win 10-4 and break out the brooms in Columbus. Baseball stayed hot as they headed into Milwaukee. The Cats kept rolling, taking down the Panthers 6-1. Parker Hanks threw 5 shutout innings and struck out 6 in his 3rd career start. And for once, the Cats got ahead early. Casey O'Laughlin knocked in 2 in the first, and they never trailed in this game. Jack Dunn had a day at the plate, going 2 for 3 with 2 runs and 2 RBI. Senior Danny Katz closed the game out for the Cats, throwing 4 full innings and notching his first career save. And the Cats start a home series with Maryland tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. right here in Evanston.
To make sense of all this madness, we bring on Inside NU's Noah Kaufman. Noah, thank you so much for being here. Let's just jump into it. The Cats have won 10 of their last 12. What have the Cats been able to do to go on this run?
Well, you talked about it in that Ohio State game, really getting hot in the late innings. The Wildcat bullpen pitched 14 innings in that 3-game set, gave up just 2 runs, whereas for Ohio State, you mentioned in those last thirds of the game, gave up 23 runs. All 23 of those runs was given up by the Ohio State bullpen. So the Cats were able to outpitch the Ohio State bullpen with their bullpen, giving up only 2 runs to Ohio State's 23. And in 3-game series, that makes a huge difference, and it was those late-in-game moments from all over the lineup where Northwestern was able to get it done offensively.
The Cats definitely have been clutch and playing well, but before we get too carried away, do you think the Cats will be able to sustain this run going into the second half of the season?
Well, they set themselves up really well. You know, only 15-14 on the season, which isn't exactly where they wanted to be, but played a lot of tough non-conference competition, really got them set for Big Ten play. They're now 4-2 in conference after the 3-game sweep. And that means that essentially, you know, the goal for Northwestern is always to get to the Big Ten tournament in baseball. Top 8 out of 13 teams make the Big Ten tournament. They probably have to go about 8-10 the rest of the way to do it. And even though they have 3 really tough teams left, Minnesota, Michigan, and Nebraska, they have the capacity to do it if they keep playing the way they've been against Ohio State. So do I think they'll go on some crazy run and make the NCAA tournament? Maybe not, but they should be able to at least make the Big Ten tournament if they continue to play well, and that's their goal. So,
well, we're all rooting for them, and regardless of what happens at the end of the season, the Cats will host Maryland for their next 3 games. What are some of the keys or focuses for the Cats to gain favorable outcomes against Maryland?
Well, the Terps, they're a pretty patient team offensively. They don't hit very well. Nobody on the Maryland team has an average over 280, but they take a lot of walks. All of their probable starters have at least double-digit free passes on the season. So for the Wildcat pitching, which has often really struggled, especially in that bullpen with giving out too many walks and too many hit by pitches, they're really going to have to tighten up, throw strikes to these Maryland hitters, make them hit their way on base. For Northwestern hitting, just keep doing what you're doing. Double-digit hits each of the last 3 games against Ohio State and nearly double-digit hits against Milwaukee with 6 runs. That's what you want to do.
Well, you heard it here first. Thank you so much for coming on, Noah. To see more of Noah's work, you can go to InsideNU.com.
And coming up, we'll have Veronica Burton and Sydney Wood on desk to talk some women's basketball. Don't go anywhere.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Go Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
And some of our more eagle-eyed viewers might be noticing that there's some wonkiness going on with the set. That's for a really good reason. We'll get there later, but first, let's go to Northwestern lacrosse. Death, taxes, Northwestern lacrosse in the top 10. They're constants in our lives, and this year has been no different. The Cats are coming to the end of their season and headed to Johns Hopkins, ranked number 6 in the country. Let's check it out. The Blue Jays wouldn't be an easy dub, though, coming into the match at number 16. Early first half, Claire Quinn dances and puts it in. You'll hear her name a few more times. Lauren Gilbert has a lane, takes it in on the free shot. Back and forth we go, though. The Blue Jays would go on a little run. This goal put them up by 3. And right here, Lindsay McCone plays a little iso ball. All right, Lindsay runs right and scores. Cats down 1 as we go to the second half. And freshman Izzy Skane says, I don't like losing. Cats tie it up, and then Claire Quinn, you remember her, right? Taking it straight to the net, and Northwestern is ahead. And they poured it on. Who else but Quinn finished the day with 6 goals, including that one right there. And this dish from Selena Lasota was just icing on the cake as the Cats would take out Johns Hopkins 20-13. The lacrosse team is currently beating Maryland lacrosse 6-3 right here in Evanston.
There's an old adage, to be the best, you have to beat the best. Well, the Northwestern men's soccer team seems to have taken that seriously. 2 weeks ago, the Cats took on academy teams from Spanish and English soccer giants Real Madrid and Liverpool, respectively. The Cats played the Spanish team into a 2-2 deadlock, with sophomore Jose Del Valle scoring 2 goals for the Cats. It would be rougher waters, however, against the English side, as the Cats lost 4-0 against Liverpool. The Cats would, however, bounce back quickly, beating DePaul in the Chicago Cup 2-0.
Lacing their boots for the first time in the spring season, the Northwestern women's soccer team took on tough competition right out of the gate. In their opener, they hosted the Mexican U20 women's national team and took on some of the North American continent's brightest prospects. In the 19th minute, Mariel Roman of the Mexican national team chipped the ball over Cats keeper Mackenzie Wood, and Northwestern would find themselves behind for the rest of the game. The Cats would eventually lose the game 2-0, but Coach Michael Moynihan praised his team and called their effort, quote, outstanding. The Cats look to bounce back in their next game against DePaul this Saturday. And in this one, Samantha Memji, would defeat Julie Byrne 6-3, 1-6, 6-3 at the number 1 singles. Lauren Lemons defeated number 37 Clarissa Hand, a rare loss for her, 3-6, 7-6, 6-2. Davina Nguyen took down Caroline Pozo 6-1, 6-2. And Lee Orr took down Maha Pietrowicz, try saying that 3 times fast, 7-5, 6-4. At the number 5, Northwestern came in with their first win as Ria Doshi defeated Nicole Stevens 6-4, 6-4. Emily Metcalf defeated Incy Ogut 7-5, 1-6, 7-6. And rounding out the doubles competition, the number 40 team of Clarissa Hand and Lee Orr took down Emily Metcalf and Maha Pietrowicz. Nicole Stevens and Samantha Miemji defeated Julie Byrne and Hannah McColgan. And Ria Doshi and Incy Ogut defeated Lauren Lemons, and Davina Nguyen 6-3. MSU would go on to take the match 4-3.
While the women's tennis team couldn't get the win against Michigan State, the Northwestern men's team got to test their own serve against the Trojans. But could they get it done? The Wildcats were the away side against the Spartans, but an early double win from Trice Pickens and Antonioni Fasano made the Cats feel right at home. The Cats duo of Simon Bratham and Van Dixhorn also picked up a win, securing the double points for the Northwestern team. In the one-on-one matches, Chris Efron, Jason Seidman, and Trice Pickens all picked up wins. Antonioni Fasano eventually won the match that sealed the game for the Cats as Northwestern won 5-2. The baseball team will be back in action against Ohio State on April 12th.
We have some very special guests in studio tonight. I want to welcome Veronica Burton and Sydney Wood to the show, both first years on the Northwestern women's basketball team. Guys, how are you doing tonight?
Good. Yeah, we're good.
Well, thank you for being on. This is very a special treat for us. So first, I'm going to take you guys both back about a month. You know, you've just lost to Michigan State in the first round of the Big Ten tourney. What was the general feeling of the team in the weeks before the Dayton game? Did you guys see this WNIT run coming?
I think initially I would say obviously it was not the result that we wanted. We were kind of defeated, as we knew. I mean, we were a better team than how we performed in the Michigan State game. So at first thought we were all pretty down, just knew we could have done better. But once we knew we were going to play in the WNIT, we all kind of shifted our gears and turned our mindset around and just kind of knew that it was a new tournament and more games, so we knew that we had to go hard for every game.
Yeah, I agree. We definitely did not put our best foot forward against Michigan State. So we were all pretty upset because we had hoped to get to the NCAA tournament. But after we figured out we were going to the WNIT, we kind of talked and we came together and said, if we're going to be in a tournament, we want to do as best as we can and we're going to be in it to win. So we all shifted our mindset and we did our best to turn out against teams in the WNIT.
You mentioned the mindset. Now, you guys were down at halftime in 3 straight games in that tournament run. You know, Toledo, West Virginia, and Ohio, and you came back to win all of them. How were you guys able to adjust, and what were you able to do to close out those games?
Well, I think we really came together as a team. In all those games, we talked, and we really thought it started on defense for us. So we kind of switched our mindset at halftime or in the third quarter whenever we made our runs, and we all started on defense. Our leaders are really vocal about coming together. Lindsey Pulliam in the Toledo game was very, very vocal, bringing us all together, and stuff like that really sparked our runs.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we all just kind of knew that this was it. This was it for Palace, and we just wanted to play as long as we could with her because she's an incredible player. So I'd say we all knew the talent that was on our team, and we just knew what we had in us. We just had to put it out on the floor. So I think we talked about it, and I mean, some even yelled about it. So I think just kind of like putting it into action is what we really need to do, and we started to do that.
What do those seniors like Palace mean to this team?
I mean, Palace is seriously one of a kind. Everyone kind of says that, but it's truly incredible to see what she's like in person and in practice. And just getting to play with her this year for 1 year, although it was short, it's definitely been an honor. And just seeing her work ethic has definitely brought the whole team up, and just the energy for everyone has increased with her around you.
Yeah, I agree with that. Most definitely her work ethic, her athleticism. She brought a different level to the game, but also how well they accepted us as freshmen, Palace and the juniors and all the other upperclassmen. It was really special to see, so we became really close as a team. So it's sad to see her go, but we're glad that we could make a run for her senior year.
And, you know, as first years, you guys both put in significant minutes in this run. You know, Veronica, I think you were actually the leading scorer a couple times. So how does that feel to be able to contribute so heavily to a run like this?
I mean, it definitely boosts our confidence as freshmen, our whole team. I think it just allows us to like know that there's a big future for us, and I think we're all pretty excited about that. And seeing the confidence that our coach has us, and as Sid said, like our older players, just they all kind of trust in us and just know what we're able to do. So I think just the confidence standpoint, like that helped us a lot, and I don't know, we're just grateful for the opportunity.
Just one last thought. You know, how does this run set you guys up for next season?
It gave us a lot of experience, especially me and Veronica as underclassmen and freshmen. We got a lot of postseason experience that you can't get anywhere else. So that was a big thing for us, and it's going to help us out next year as we try and reach the NCAA tournament.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Again, I just want to thank you guys, and be sure to check them out next season when they will be second years. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Now, if you missed some of the games this week catching up on Game of Thrones, don't go anywhere. We have Plays of the Week coming up.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Welcome back to Sports Night. We have Plays of the Week right now.
Right now. And at number 3, Lily Novak pokes a single into right, but the real top play here is the Northwestern softball team. They've been hot, they're looking good. It's been a run for the ages.
At number 2, Lindsay Pulliam does what Lindsay Pulliam does. Drives, gets the bucket and the foul, and one.
And at number 1, Selena Lasota. If the front ain't working, bring it around the back. Oh, beautiful shot. Well, that's all we got here for Sports Night. Abriel, it's been a pleasure as always.
As always, please follow us at NNN Sports on Twitter, and we will see you next Thursday.